Okay, so I'm back. There was some issue with the driver. I had to reinstall the driver, and it was just the pointer was stuck inside the VM and it was not coming out. So I had to reinstall the VMware tool, and I had to restart the VM so that it could come out. With that, let's go ahead and install Microsoft AD inside the Windows Server 2016. So here I'm going to now make the screen bigger. So here it is. Um, you can see this is my Windows VM, and nothing, no role is installed. So what I'm going to do is go to click manage and add roles and features. And here I can always keep this, and now role based feature based installation. So I'm installing that, and this is I have named it previously in 2016 actually. What I can do always is I can go and change this name, but we'll do that later. So now this is the server, and there is a IP address which is a dynamic IP address. We have to change that into, actually it is required that AD server should have a static IP. So I am going to do that right now. And maybe what I'll do is I'll do that first, and then I will come back and reinstall it. So first, let's go ahead and change the IP address. And I'm going to change the IPv4 IP address. So I'm going to give a static IP instead of DHCP best IP. 192.168.1. I'll call it maybe 21. And this is default 192.168.1.1 and 192.168.1.21, because I'm going to create a DNS server, this one also. So I want to have that all now. Okay, so this is going to install, maybe it is going to download also some other server. So for the time being, what I'll do is I'll create, I'll not give the same IP here. I'll give, even if my normal regular DNS server IP, so that if required, then it can download some of the packages from the internet, because my 1.1 is the gateway, so, and also the default DNS server. So I changed it, and now let's go ahead and install the server. So this is again giving me some issues with respect to, okay, so this is back. Now go back to the VM, and I'm going to change it to full screen. Now go to manage again and add role and role based, yes. And yes, this is server, it's already but because it's only one. Select it, and here we can see Active Directory domain services. So just click it, and you see these are the features by default will be added. So role administration tools like AD and DS tools, Active Directory, and so on and so forth, and just include the management tools are the features. Now click next, and I want to install .NET Framework 3.5 features as well. So just select .NET Framework, which possibly will be downloaded from internet, and click next. And here alternate source, no, restart the destination server automatically if required. If you want to do that, go ahead and do that. I prefer to do that. So, and go ahead and install it. So installation started, and it will come back. It will take some time, maybe 2-3 minutes to start, to finish the installation, and after that it will restart the VM of the server, and once it restarts, then we can go and configure the Active Directory. So we'll wait and we'll see how much time it takes. It depends upon, again, your internet speed. I am installation started, so it should be pretty straight and fast. So we can wait here, and just if it takes more time, then obviously I'll just stop it, and I'll stop the recording and I'll come back when it is over. Okay, it's moving faster, so I think we can wait. In my recorder, I don't have a pause button actually, so I don't want to just stop here again, another recording I don't want to do. So just I'll wait here so that the installation is over and we can restart the server. The restart will be pretty fast actually. And I just wanted to tell that after this, we are going to install the MS SQL Server 2016 as well. So that will be required. Another function will be required is this database server, and that server will be required by the connection server. So VMware has a connection server which will be required. So once these three functions are installed, AD server, MS SQL, and the VMware connection server, then we'll configure all the three. And once these three are configured together, and then we'll configure the connection server to talk to the vCenter server, and then we have to see how the composer works, VMware composer, and then we'll create the desktop pools, and we'll assign users for the desktop pools, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, this is a configuration reconciliation succeeded, right? So here we see it is succeeded, and go and close it. And I am sure this didn't restart, means it didn't, this function didn't want, it should be restarted. So we are good. Now I will go back to the function and manager here, server manager, and you can see here, just click and promote this server to a domain controller. Okay, just click it. I am going to create a domain controller here because I don't have any other domain controller in my network. So just click add a new first, and just give here a domain name of your choice, which you want to name as your own domain. You can create a local domain. Obviously, don't give something which is internet based, and or something which is already present in the internet. So best is you can give .local or .internal. So I'll give is my name .pnayak.local maybe. This will be my domain name, pnayak.local. So click next. And here first functional label, domain functional label, and password, just select the functional label because this is the first, and read only, no, I don't want it. So give the password for the domain controller. and go to next. Here, don't worry about the warning sign here. So just click next, and it will give me the NetBIOS domain name now. We have to just wait for that. You see the next is not enabled yet. So okay, the NetBIOS domain name is Vinayak. That is the domain name. And next. And just click again next. And if you want, you can view the script, this script to be executed for PowerShell. These settings can be exported to a PowerShell script to automate additional installation. So let me save it, and I can actually save as. So for further, as you know, I will just select maybe desktop and create PS1. So PowerShell. This is a PowerShell script, so I want to save it as a PowerShell script rather than a text file. So I'll save it as .ps1. Save it. And that's all. Now go to next. Verifying prerequisite for the domain controller operation. Okay, and just don't worry about these warnings and just install. It will take some time, and now it will restart, of course. So it will restart, and it will configure this server as a domain controller as well, and it will configure the AD server, and it will configure the forest as well, the main forest for the domain controller and AD server, Active Directory. So we'll wait for the installation to be over for maybe quick minutes. So I'm creating the directory partition. And this is progressing. Okay, because this is going to be closed and restarted. So close it, and it's going to be restarted automatic. And we'll wait for that. So restarting, shutting down the service, and this VM is going to be restarted, and it will be configured as my domain controller. And also the Active Directory service will be enabled. We can see that. So let it restart. It will take some time. Now you will see that in fact it will change our network configuration also. You see, previously I gave the DNS server as my default DNS, and now the DNS server will be changed to 127.0.0.1, which is a local host IP. So now this server will not communicate to any other DNS server but itself. So because it's a DNS itself, and it's a domain controller, and also the Active Directory service is running here. So let's wait for this server to come off and see the configurations. After that, what in my next video, I'm going to show my SQL server. Well, you see here I have given 8 gig of RAM and 4 vCPUs. Each server I have given this 4 vCPU because this connection server requires a minimum of 4 vCPUs, and I do have 8 vCPU in my server. So if you want, you can actually change the AD server into 2 rather than having 4. But in the documentation of connection server, it is written that minimum of 4 vCPU is required and 4 gig of RAM is required. But I have given for the connection server, I have given this, and we can change actually this here to 2 vCPUs. It is not necessary I should have all of 4 to be given. And okay, so I have now 2 and 8. Maybe I can still change the 8 to be 4 gig of RAM to the SQL server. Similarly, AD also, after this is over, this restarts, I will change the memory and CPU of this server. What you can do is, tricky thing is, while configuring, you can give some high power to the server once the configuration is over, because otherwise the configuration will take a lot of time, lack of CPU and lack of memory. So initially during configuration, you can give more so that it will serve, it will configure properly. And once it is configured properly, I am sure, because our internal network or internal data center, which will just a POC environment, or maybe just 1 or 2 desktops will be created remotely, so it won't take much resources. So I believe once the configuration is over, you can reduce power of each server so that the main power will be given to the ESX and the vCenter server. So what we'll do is, we'll finally create a ESX server, and on that I will install the vCenter server. So I want all my power should go there and assigned to the ESX, on which we'll create different VMs. So I want to keep those power and assign less power to these local VMs, which I'm creating outside of the vCenter, so vSphere. I have some theory behind it, like why I'm keeping these 3 servers behind, because this is ESX. I have a multiple layers of virtualization. First my operating system, then I'm creating another layer of workstation, on workstation again ESX server, and on ESX server I have the vCenter server. So if I have to start my AD, if I'm keeping it inside my ESX, then what I have to do is, I have to first start my workstation, then I'll start my ESXi server, then I'll start my vCenter server, then I'll start my AD server, right? So for that, I want to, rather than going through all these steps, what I'm doing is, I'm keeping this my AD server completely outside of ESXi environment or the vSphere environment, so that I can just start my computer and open workstation and start the AD server directly. And also that's the reason also I'm keeping my SQL server also separately. So we'll see that, and still you see this is still taking time because it is bringing all the services up after it was configured as AD and domain controller. So it is taking some time because it's also going to change the network configuration. So it is up now, you see, and I have to just send a Control-Alt-Delete to here. And now you see that. See here that pnayak/administrator. Previously it was just administrator. So now it is connected to domain, this server itself, and I just log in as the domain administrator. So I logged in as the domain administrator here, and I'm in, right? Now let's see if I am you see now this is not connected to internet, no internet access, because of obviously the network has been changed. We can see that here, the network And here adapter settings, if you go and check the properties, you see here it is 127.0.0.1, whereas the default gateway is 1.1, but DNS is itself the local host because this is the domain controller for this network. Okay, so we now created a domain controller plus Active Directory server, and now after this, when I'm creating a new VM, a new server, what I'll do is I'll join these servers to this domain controller first. So that will be done in my next video. And this is a AD server, and this is the and I'm going to close all these unnecessary VMs so that it will be easier to follow. And this is my server. Okay, I stop here for my next video. Thanks for watching.